Hey guys, what's going on? Joe and Mike's podcast, Mike and Joe's podcast. Don't know the name of the channel. It's one of those. But we're here for a little bit of a different episode. I'm not sure if you guys know Mike has a music career and he dropped an album. Today is Sunday. He dropped it yesterday, October 21st. What number studio album is this? Like five, six?
My fifth album.
Fifth,
Second
fifth
this year.
studio album. So
Second of this
rather
year.
than us discussing our opinions on something or something like that, I'm gonna kind of be interviewing him. That's kind of what this is gonna be like for this episode. So yeah, I guess where we'll start is I was about to tell them that's M exclamation mark C on Spotify, Apple Music, but it's not. It's help
You
me
want,
out here.
you want me to pronounce
How-
it?
yes.
So wait, but look at it real quick. Think about the content of my music. What does it sound like to you?
Akiidagiin.
A kid again.
Uh, Jesus Christ. Well,
Yeah. That's
okay,
that's how
so
it's
that is
going.
spelled, if you want to find it, Akiidagiin. Like Mississippi, But the name of the album is It Is What It Is, which is also the name of the closer track. I guess that answers half of my first question of what does that mean? So it wasn't it wasn't creative enough in reading it. But I guess the other question I was gonna have is this permanent? Are you gonna release music under your old name again, or what's the deal with that?
No, so I think I'm gonna stick with this. The thing is, like, when you type in, if somebody was to type in M exclamation mark C, my thing wouldn't
Mhm.
be the first thing to show up. Versus
Yeah.
if you see, like, if somebody sees, say, if someone posts it on their page and they're like, oh, let me look this up, and they look up that
Mhm.
name, my stuff will come up right away. So that was part of the reason why I wanted to change the name. And
Mhm.
I don't know, like obviously with the content of my music, a lot of it is like, reminiscing on like being a kid again and things like that. So when I wrote down a couple variations of the name, and I don't know, I that one stood out to me the most with the multiple eyes, and I was just like, this looks pretty cool. So
So obviously, when it's because it's a kid again, but how would you pronounce it? How do you want people to pronounce it? A kid again, or
a kid again, a kid again, yeah, like a kid again.
a kid again, a kid again? Whatever tickles your fancy, I suppose. Sure. Um, so I personally, just to give you a little context, I just went for a walk and just listened to the album for the first time. So this is fresh. And the first thing that kind of threw me off is we're gonna start when I say the beginning, we're gonna start the very beginning where I was kind of surprised that rather than starting with an instrumental like most albums you enjoy, you just start rapping right out the gate. What was the thought process behind doing that? Because I know this is a man I know who loves his intros, so there's definitely a reason for that.
Yeah, so I made this track back in May or June, I think. Um,
Mhm.
and as soon as I started writing to it, I was like, man, like I want, and I told my engineer when I got into the studio that day, I said, man, like I don't want the instrumental to play first. Like I wanted to just, I wanted you to hear me go right away. And in my mind, I planned on having like a short 1 minute intro that was
Mhm.
going to lead into this being track two. that
Right.
that was
Okay.
always that was always the plan in my head, even when I was writing this song. But as time went on, I kind of just liked the idea. Sometimes I would put it on, I'd be like, man, like I think that would be really cool and different for, like, especially when you look at my albums. Like I've never had it just start.
Mm.
Like it just
Right.
starts. Like it just gets right to it. And yeah, I don't know. It's that's kind of where I'm at with it. But it was definitely a thought for sure.
Did you like how it came out?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Perfect. Let's see. Um, so usually I said here, usually your albums are like about like an they're all like, true stories and stuff, but usually they're about like a specific like time period. Can you tell us like obviously I know about where the time period ends, Good Life. But can you tell us any more about like the time period as a whole? Was it all college years and stuff like that?
No. So, and this is the thing too, right? This might make you a little mad, not mad, but it's gonna sound like damn, like I really did have this whole idea to just like, and in a sense, you still get. Tell me if this makes sense, right?
Mm,
This album, it started off as, and I think I had told you a while ago, like I want to make an album like as if like I'm in Gary again, like where we lived like in college and things like that, right?
yeah.
So it's not that, but it is at the same time because like if you
Hmm.
think about if you think a lot of things in my life right now are similar to my feelings and thoughts when I was moving in to school, going away and
Yeah.
everything. So and then you also have that middle towards the end part of the album where you get the 2012 interlude, and then you get a couple of those,
Hmm.
vintage songs by me reflecting on my childhood, which could play into that spring semester. I was very much in getting into the throwback album mood. So
Yeah.
like it originally was gonna be like that time frame, but I kind of just took the reins off. That's why it's a
Hmm.
white album cover. That's why I'm just calling it. It is what it is because there's not one specific theme or concept. Like it just is what it is. Whatever you think it is. So
Can can I protest to change the album name to something similar
yeah,
but different?
yeah.
It's the way she goes.
I was
No, no, you were.
I was gonna name a song that I haven't made. I have a couple ideas, but I always wanted to make a song called "The Way She Goes." I still might. I still might.
That's so. Have you heard the what is it? The Vanessa Carlton, 1,000 miles, but it's racing the way she goes.
Yeah, yeah.
Love that. Love that. So I guess that kind of leads into you were talking about some nostalgia, no time. Is 2012, is that a previous song or is that
Yeah.
new?
So I had put that out as like a little like snippet in like June,
Mhm.
July of this past year, I think.
Yeah, I remembered that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was just a little bit of the question. The bigger question is, how do you feel that they fit into the album here? And when you made them, did you have this concept for the album and say, I'm going to include these two or these three?
No, I really didn't. Like, I had like as you know, I put out that EP in May,
Yeah.
and that actually went over really well. I was not expecting. Like, I just wanted to throw some songs out there, after Euphoria, but I was not
Mhm.
expecting people to really gravitate towards those. Um, but for me, as I was like, because I'm sure like you know how my mind works. Like there was a different
Mhm.
track list every day for this album from like August to
Damn.
like last week. So like there was a lot of like I got to,
Including songs that didn't make the cut.
oh yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah. But like so I was part of me didn't want to put any of those songs in there, like back in the day too, for example, like because that's more of like
Mhm.
that vibe. Like because I was like, like I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. But I felt like personally the album needed it needed to be like there needed to be a switch up because if I'm not mistaken, you get what do you have the track list in front of you? Because I'm drawing
I
a blank.
can now I do.
Before Baby Come Home, you have what do you
Break it down.
break it down? Yeah. So I don't know, like I felt like after those two songs, like especially Baby Come Home, it got like pretty, I was like one of my more like deep cut songs that
Mhm.
I wanted to just have like a break and like just like have there be a little bit of fun on the album, you know?
Yeah,
And I like the thought of 2012 being an interlude. Like to me, like that wasn't
it
gonna be
works.
an interlude, but then I was like, you know what? I like it better like this. And then it kind of ties it's almost like entering like the next half of the album. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, okay.
it broke it apart pretty nicely, I feel like. And so, but yeah, those weren't gonna be in the album originally.
Gotcha. Um, I just came up with a new question, so congrats to me. So I know through talking to you and obviously through listening to your music, you've always kind of what am I trying to say here? Like a PGE for everyone artist, but now you're going into not only like you've thrown like a cuss word here or there, like, oh, we said a bad word, but you're also exploring these themes where Gloom Moons When I Piss, which by the way, that made me laugh. You're exploring, your obviously your college years. I know better than a lot of other people how like your college years went, and not only was there a lot more stress and stuff like that, but a lot more adult content, including that kind of stuff. So was it kind of hard to explore that, knowing that like your fans have like kind of viewed you as this like PG like all ages guy for this entire time? And how different was it writing about like stuff like that rather than putting like childhood tinted glasses on and writing?
Yeah, so it's interesting you say that, right? Because like
Mhm.
I've always said to you like I started off never cursing, and I've always said like I at a certain point I stopped going in with the mindset of I can't curse. I just was so used to not cursing that I just wouldn't do it because it just wasn't in my vocabulary when I write. Obviously, you know me, I curse all the time in person, but um I've it was actually like it was actually a conversation me and you had once, funny enough. And I'm not just saying that. I
Really?
really mean that. Like, we make jokes and stuff. I'm not mad about it because it's true. Like, I feel like every artist has their thing, right? And like, obviously, my thing is like, I reminisce about a lot of things from like my childhood and things like that. And I did that for most of the throwback album. And with Euphoria, there still was a lot of it in there. I think it was in a bit of a different way, but it was still there. So coming off of
Mhm.
Euphoria, I just wanted to like I was like, man, I want to explore like different things, like I want to like I
Mhm.
need something that's gonna and again I love those albums, but I'm like I want to advance it, and I started writing I started opening my mind to the idea of like including more content of my personal life in the music, and with that there was no other way to express some words sometimes than just then cursing, like I just that like
Yeah, for
that's just
sure.
kind of how it was. And then it's like
Like real life.
yeah, well that, and then also too it's like it brings more character. I feel like for example, like me saying
Mhm.
like you see Blue Moon when I pick, like I feel like that's so cool that I have like a line like that, like you know what I mean, like
Mhm.
because like yeah, like at a certain point like that was me, and like that is me, like so I don't know, I just feel like
It,
it
it feels like
brings
it
more
feels like
light.
we're growing up with you in a way, because
Exactly.
your
Well,
other albums have talked about your childhood. Now we're talking about college years.
that and
I
also
can't wait to see how you're working in your 9 to 5 in
it's
5 years.
it's also like Mac Miller, like he had like the
Mhm.
spins and stuff going on as he grew up, his music evolved to like completely different
Yeah.
stuff. So it's kind of like that as well.
You talk about like how moving in where you are now, if people don't know, you have moved, you are off on your own at this point. How it feels similar to like when you moved off to college and stuff. And that just made me curious. So these songs, were they produced? Because I know you're doing a little producing work by yourself now. Were these produced by your producer before you left Jersey, or is this your work, or is it some of this, some of that?
It's so it's two songs that that actually were done here that I recorded here.
Can I ask which ones?
Yes. The first one is All Right, and then the
Mhm.
second one was Baby Come Home.
Gotcha. So those, would you say that those more connect to your feelings at the moment because they're more recent, you were feeling like that? And the other ones, I don't want to say were just thrown in, but just kind of fit the memo, or
No,
is
no,
it
no,
different?
no, because like, and again, like I knew that I was gonna be moving a few
Mhm.
months before I had to move, so I felt like all of that still kind of fit, and I think it's kind of interesting how like some of the things like some of the things I rapped about are even more relatable now than they were when I actually wrote them, which I think is pretty cool.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find it, I mean, you're moving off to college, moving off to, on your own. I'm sure those are two very similar things, but it's really interesting to me how the entire because you did community college for 2 years, and I'm sure a lot of the album is about not only our times, but at URI, but those times. And it's so interesting how all 4 of those years can also just relate to you just moving away. Like moving to college, yes, that has a lot to do with moving into a new house, but I wouldn't think like, staying up late with the boys or falling in love at community college. Like, I wouldn't think that's the same thing as like moving away. So that's interesting how you kind of piece those things together.
Well, it's all about like for me the idea of change. Like I realized a while
Mm,
ago that I didn't like I was a person who did not like change. And that's something I try to change because like as like a person like you just like things are going to change and you just got to go with it. And there's no hiding from it, you know? So that's where I feel they're all really connected is it's all
mm.
major changes in my life, you know? So
All right, I got a couple more for you. Let's talk specifically about a song for once. Let's talk about Get Back in No Time. I feel like I don't want to call them diss tracks, but they're definitely the closest thing you've ever had to a diss track. And I'm just curious, what made you ready to be like, all right, it's time for me to explore this area of my genre?
well, like I said, man, like I mean, I just I just wanted to branch out and expand my range, like because
Mhm,
the thing is, like I do all these things and I have done these records before, but not in my albums. It was like back in my SoundCloud days and stuff. And I feel like for a while, and again, it's hard for me to talk like this because I love all these albums, but like I feel like after
mhm,
Cycles, I got into a box of being like, oh, this works and this is like pretty easy to write.
mhm.
Like, so I'm gonna keep doing
Sure.
it. And then it got to a certain point where I was like, okay, but like at a certain point, it's something's got like you gotta explore other outlets and see what's out there. You know, like you can always that, and that's
Yeah.
why that's why I'm like for me, like I'm always gonna have a record like a back in the day or something. Like I'll always have those records on my albums. But I just want to
Mhm,
also keep expand, like I said, expanding my range because most of my favorite artists, most of them on their album, you don't know what you're getting on the next track. You know what I mean? So it's like
true.
I want to grow into that eventually. So that has something to do with it. Also, I just it was just fun. They were just fun vibes for me. The beats really did
Mhm.
that, and it actually this is why I'll say this real quick. It started with a song called Slide um, that I dropped in April that I wrote when we were in visiting in Rhode Island in February.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and because I was just
When you were crashed on the couch.
yeah, and like because we were going back out to places, and I was just like in like a hype vibe and things, and I was just like, I don't know, like it just kind of got
Mhm,
me to like explore that side of the music because as you know, I love that kind of music, but you wouldn't get
mhm.
that from my past few albums. So
Right. Yeah, no, and I was gonna say I would say like I don't want to say theatrically because I mean I didn't hear no strings, but like in terms of like music, those two definitely break the formula more than any of your other work, at least that I'm aware of, that I've heard. And like that's just, I feel like that's so hard to do, to seamlessly like switch up in the middle of the song. And I remember when I was listening to Get Back, like, you know, like an hour ago, at the end of it, I went back to the beginning because I was like, I forgot how the hell we got here, because it was just so, it changed so much. And it was like, that's just so neat. Cause I know we feel the same way about like, maybe not stylistically, but the concept of like music where it's like, oh, it's so cool that he can go out here and do this, or you can go here and do that. Me more so rock, you more so rap, but you know, pretty much we love how people like, you know, are able to create different things with different structures in music. And I feel like that's what you created here. And I think I know that you probably are pretty proud of those songs. But the last question I have here for you is, what is your favorite track off the album? I'm gonna if the answer is No Time or Some Nostalgia, you can say that, but I want a new song answer as well.
Yeah, no. Those aren't one of my favorite songs. My favorite song on the album, I really, this is what I will say, right? I have three
Mhm.
answers, but there's really one real answer. But I just want to give a shout out to these other songs. I
You got
really,
it.
I really love Life's a Trip because,
Mhm.
like, the because you always, when you write a record, and you write it and then you say it back in your mind, you have an idea of what it's going to sound like. But sometimes when you record it, it's like, damn, this isn't what I had in mind. When I
Mhm.
recorded that and it got mixed and everything, that was exactly what I had it in mind. Like, I've just felt
Mhm.
like I was so in the, like, not sounding like Leahy, but like I was so in the pocket. Like my rhyming ability there was like at a
You shouldn't
very
have said that.
was at like a very high level to me. Like I was like, wow, like I was flowing. Like that was
Mm.
dope. Um, I really like Baby Come Home because I it's just one of those records for me that like it's a very honest and just very truthful record. And I love when I'm able to capture those moments. I have a couple of those songs like that if you go back to a song Deja Vu, another one I have called Let 'Em Go from 2019. It's from very, very real
Mm.
personal experiences. And so whenever I'm able to get that out, it just always feels like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders. Um,
Yeah, facts.
but my favorite song on the album as of right now is It Is What It Is, the closer track.
Right, right. Anything, so expand. Tell me and why, just like back in school.
Well, yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like
Oh wait, I have a follow-up as well. Is there a reason there's a period at the end of it?
no, it just is what it is. Like this is what it is. Like
No way, he did it. He said the thing.
yeah, no,
But
but
anyways, continue. I'm sorry,
yeah,
continue.
no. So for me, it's kind of like it actually really like goes back to the theme of like because first of all, I love the sample on there. Like the beat is just like very like atmospherical, if that's even a word. Like it, and it was I had that instrumental for like years, but I just never knew what to do with it. Um,
Really? That's cool.
yeah, because I loved it, but I'm just like, man, I can't figure out how I would even like sound on it. Um, but I just think it's one of my more brutally honest records that if somebody who thinks that they know me, like they listen to it and they're like, wait, whoa, damn, that's pretty, I didn't know, you know, like I
Mm.
have some pretty serious lines in there. I also love how the ending of it, like it goes into me always talking about being a kid again. Like I'm always like, I'm saying all these things and I'm like, uh, I'm just trying to tell the youth, don't grow up. I'm telling you, like, be a kid forever. And then it's like, it is what it is. Like, and it's basically just like trying to navigate your way through life. Um, Me saying, one of my favorite lyrics I have, like, I'm too consistent when it comes to habits, but the truth is, I'm really just an addict. That's life. And it's like,
Mm.
a lot of lyrics on there that really like I was proud of that I was able to get those thoughts out, but Yeah, that definitely is one of my favorites for sure.
Absolutely. Anything else you were looking to say on here? It's all you. You got the floor.
Do you have a favorite record?
Do I have a favorite song?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel like we should talk about that, right? I kind of
I feel like
kind
we
of forgot to talk about Good Life, right?
Oh
Dude,
my God,
is it
we literally forgot to talk about this.
is it is it wrong? Is it bad that the second semester shout out made me smile more than you saying my name in the song? I was like, there's no way this man just coined second semester.
But
I was like laughing for like a solid like minute after, like not because I thought it was like stupid or I just thought I was like, that's so crazy. He just said second semester. That's
but
so
I
crazy.
but I don't know if you understand now why I texted you because I had felt like I don't know. I don't know if that is your favorite song or not, but
Well, yeah, that's why we're talking about it. Yeah.
yeah, but I didn't know that I didn't think it would be a record you necessarily liked. So I didn't know how engaged you would be into it. So I just wanted to make sure you were like, okay, that's why I was like said to you, I was like, hey, like even if you don't really like this song, like just stick around. Like just listen to it, you know?
Well, I want to. I mean, I listened to all of them from beginning to end. I still want to continue talking about Good Life, but if you want an answer for the rest of it, I liked the instrumental on All Right a lot. I liked a few things on All Right. If for those of you who don't know, I'm not into rap, so Mike getting me to like one of these songs is a win for all of us. Anyways, um, I'm gonna have to listen to Get Back again. I liked Get Back a lot. I liked how it changed up. Same thing with No Time. I like exclamation marks. What can I say?
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
but let's go back to Good Life. Let's go back to Good Life because I was waiting for my poor boy Dennis, my poor boy Matt. I'm like, ah, he's gonna shout out the boys, and you just go with the rest of them.
I was trying. Well, you know, like I really was trying to, but
Yeah, no, it's hard because like uh, it was like me and you, and then like the other times was like us, and then like the boys, right? There was never really like like if you're gonna shout out one of them, you got to shout out all of them because like it was everyone was there.
that song is so deep on a lot of levels for me. Um,
Mm.
because if you listen to those later lines after I say that, and then the rest of them all went out when they had the time. Thank God I lived in the moment or never questioned why. I didn't do the original plan I had in mind. Turns out that I had been
No, you
doing this
didn't.
whole time. Um, so yeah, like that song is like that's another song that I wrote right after we left Rhode Island in February of this past year. I got a lot of inspiration from that weekend, even though my voice is
I
gone.
Oh my, your voice was gone before I even got up there, dude. But what was I gonna say? I like I like your so first of all, I like the concept that like obviously now you're in a much different headspace. You're a lot less stressed out, at least as far as I'm aware, and I hope so, because but and you're doing bad habits less, you're in a much better place, but you still like value the times that we did that. And I hope I'm not just speaking for myself when I say I wouldn't trade it for anything. I wouldn't get rid of it for anything. But the other one of my favorite lines in it, I'll have to listen again, but the one that I'd say I guess jumped out to me is when you said like you could put us like back there and it would never happen again. Or I forget the exact line, it's like you could give it to us like you could give us this time again, but it wouldn't be the same or
Oh yeah.
something like
Oh, in the
that.
chorus, yeah, we may never get this moment again. Let's make the most of
No,
everything.
no, no, it's
Oh,
not. It's near the end of the
oh,
song.
oh, gotcha,
I
gotcha.
forget the I forget the damn lyric, but it kind of like reflects where it's like this was a once in a lifetime thing, and even if you put all of us in that exact situation again, it would just never amount to it because everything went so perfect. Everything was just so awesome. And it's because here's the thing being, no, I can't even talk, man. Um, Listening to your music, like obviously, like you tell me some stories and I'm like, oh, I kind of get where he's talking about. Like, oh, yep, like this is Mike. Like, I get this. But I was there for this, and it's just makes it me realize so much harder how hard it is to put like what we did, what happened there into words. And the fact that there's so many like phrases or lines that I'm just like, wow, that makes so much sense is just great. I really enjoy it, and I really hope I get these lyrics down to a T because shit, I was there. I was there for this.
Yeah, no, and that's you said it so perfectly when you were like, like how I kind of said how like like it all went so perfect, but at the time, like you would think there was so much chaos and just stuff, and that is also the bigger theme of this album, where it's like you got to find the good in everything. Like at the end of the day, like it's the journey. Life's a trip. Like I was gonna call this album "Life's a Trip," but I just named the first song that. But like it's so true, bro. It's like that's why I say in the chorus, we may never get this moment again. Let's make the most of everything while we can.
Mhm.
Um, because every moment you got to just try to enjoy, because you're gonna look back on it. It always happens with me. Like I could think I'm in a whatever place, and then a year later I look back now, I'm like, damn, that was like a really good thing. You know what I mean? Like that was a
Yep.
great time. It's like, and it's like that was a moment in time that, like I said, yeah, it can't be replicated. It can't. It's just, I mean, it can't. I don't think we could afford it. But but
Nope.
um, but it was a time that should be remembered and was
Mhm.
just as important, if not more important, than basically any other time in my life. You know what I mean?
It it's crazy to me how you're talking like I don't even think I knew back then how stressed you were and all that stuff that was going on and that led you to do all those led you into these bad positions, and I was just like tagging along for the ride, just having fun because all my classes were online. I was in the easiest major in the entire campus. So I'm just like, "Oh, you having a couple drinks tonight? All right, let's do it." And you're
Yeah,
over there like, "I need a couple drinks." I'm like, "Hey."
yeah, yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
like like but at the same time, it's like those were the times that I needed to have at that time. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's
Yep, absolutely.
that's why I'm
Absolutely.
like, it's such a great. It was such a it was exactly what we needed, or what I needed. I'll say, at least I'll speak for myself. But like, it's it's a
I
really
needed to get it out
interesting
of my
thing.
system for sure. I needed to get it out of my system.
It's a really interesting thing, man, for sure. But like I said, I told you this plenty of times. When I
Mhm.
get famous and I have enough money, we are renting out
We are renting out
that studio.
Gary 200 and recording an album.
Yes, we are.
That's what's happening. With one exception. I'm writing a ballad and we're putting it on the album.
Okay.
Still waiting for your ballad.
I know.
Still waiting for your green thumb.
Oh God. We're doing this again.
Had to bring it up. I had to bring it up. But that's pretty much all I got. As long as that's all you got, thanks for watching. Just to reiterate, Akiidagiin. That had a rhythm to it. That was pretty good. But other than that, like, comment, subscribe, watch for more of our stuff. We have a couple very fun things coming your way. One that I'm extremely excited for. So don't miss it. Did you have something you wanted to say?
The luck's coming soon.
There we go. Deluxe coming soon. Catch you on the next one.